So what's good? What's good? This one is Act 1 of The Crucible. So let me clarify this because I don't know if y'all know, but this story is about people accusing each other of witches. But there's no witches, nobody's being possessed, there's no spirit or supernatural causes in this story. It's just a bunch of um a bunch of really paranoid people. So there's no possession or anything, no witches or anything. It's just a bunch of paranoid people. So let's start. The setting, it's in Salem, Massachusetts in 1692. In the Act 1, it starts the scene off at Parris's house. Parris, the story begins with him kneeling down on next to the bed of his daughter Betty, who is unconscious and unresponsive, and Parris, the other person in the room with him is Abigail, which is his niece and Betty's cousin. Parris is getting mad at Abigail because Parris saw them the night before. Abigail, Betty, and Tituba. Tituba is the slave of Parris, and a bunch of other girls in the woods dancing, like we saw in that movie. They were all dancing, saying Tituba was saying a bunch of like weird stuff, and he caught them. And right when he caught them, that's when Betty got in shock, and now she's like all unconscious. And Abigail, she denies that there was any witchcraft activities and state that Betty was only shook because Parris, which is her dad, caught Betty in the woods dancing and everything, so she got shocked. So that was her explanation. And also during the story, we come to find out a girl named Elizabeth Proctor, who was Abigail used to work for her until she got fired for until now in Act 1. We don't know why. I'll go over it in I think Act 2 or Act 3. I forgot which one it comes up in. But yeah, Elizabeth Proctor fired Abigail. And it is also brought up that Elizabeth Proctor does not go to church a lot. And oh, by the way, Parris is a minister, very big minister. And ministers are very big at this time because, get it, we're in Salem, Massachusetts, 1692, and they're living the Puritan life, so they're very religious. So the minister is very high up, and that's what Parris is. Parris, he doesn't really care about his daughter Betty waking up. He just cares because there's a bunch of people outside his home that know that she's passed out, and he doesn't want his image to go bad. So that's why he's like trying to figure out what to do. And the idea is to bring a person named Reverend Hale to come and see if there is witchcraft or what's going on and stuff. And he doesn't want to answer anybody's questions or claim any witchcraft yet until Reverend Hale figures out what's going on. While that's going on, the Putnams, John Putnam and Mrs. Putnam, they come and they claim that their daughter Ruth is also in a weird conscious-like state or going through some strange stuff too, because she was one of the girls that was in the woods, and they're saying like she's sleepwalking and stuff. And also during the story, we come to find out that Thomas Putnam, he doesn't like Parris because Thomas Putnam's, the guy that I'm talking about, that his daughter's Ruth. We find out that his brother-in-law was supposed to be a minister, but Parris ended up being it, so he has kind of bad tensions with him. And he also is pretty mad because 7 kids that he had died, and only one survived, which was Ruth. So we know that Mr. Putnam doesn't like Parris, and he also doesn't like the guy named Giles Corey, because they're always disputing over land. So that's important to remember. Putnam does not like Parris as much, and Putnam argues a lot with Giles Corey because they argue over land. His wife, Mrs. Putnam, she's very sad about the 7 kids of her that died as well. So she gets her daughter, Ruth. The reason why Ruth was in the forest was she sent Ruth to go with Tituba to try to contact their 7 kids that they lost, or her siblings that that she had, or I don't know how old she is, but that siblings she used to have. Parris, to address the public and give them answers, he's gonna set up a prayer, but he doesn't. Yeah, like I said, he does not want to say any witchcraft activity or anything at all until Reverend Hale, the expert at witchcraft, comes and figure out what's wrong with Betty. As they leave, all the girls that were in the woods are in the room alone with Betty, and Betty wakes up and she wants her mom, but the thing is, her mom's not alive or anything and stuff like that, and Abigail gets mad, but then Abigail tells all the girls, okay, I told Parris everything. I told my uncle everything, Parris, about the woods and everything, so he knows. And then Betty was like, you didn't tell him you drank blood, because we've come to find out during this point of the story that Abigail drank blood of an animal. I don't know what animal. I think it was a crow, but drank the blood of it because they were doing like witch things, and she wanted to drink it to get Elizabeth Proctor, the girl that I was talking about before, to die. We don't know why yet, but I'll go over it in Act 2 and Act 3. But yeah, she drank that to kill Elizabeth Proctor. And Abigail gets mad at Betty and slaps her and tells all the girls to not say one word except that they were dancing in the woods and Ruth was trying to contact her dead siblings. That's it. No anything drinking blood or anything else. All the girls are scared of Abigail, so they listen to her. And as the scene continues, many people... Abigail gets questioned, and Abigail snitches on Tituba, the slave. And people go after Tituba, and they're gonna believe Abigail because she's white and Tituba is black and she's a slave, so there's not good equal rights at this time. So they accuse Tituba of bad, and they basically beat her until because Tituba kept saying, I didn't do anything, but they kept beating her, and then Tituba was like, okay, I did it just to lie, so it'll save her life, but she has to go to prison. So she lies, and she's saved, but she has to go to prison. Abigail sees this as a way of covering up like any accusations of her and the girls in the woods doing witchcraft. So she gets all the girls to help her point out and accuse like a bunch of people in Salem of witchcraft to cover up that they were doing anything bad. Okay, so basically that's the opening scene in the setting. Now let's analyze and what's going on. All right, so let's see. Okay, the setting, yes, is in Salem. I said it before. It's based around Puritan faith or religion, which is very strict. They're very strict. There's no freedom of speech. Well, there's freedom. Well, I don't know how to put this. There is. Okay, this is before America, right? So the freedom of speech is not supported. So you have to follow the rules, and if you don't follow the rules of the court or the government, which is based around religion, like if you say talk bad about God or anything, then you will get in trouble. A lot of the problems and tensions arising is from the girls, like trying to cover themselves up, but there's also a bunch of grudges over property, religionist offices like the minister position, and sexual behavior as well with Abigail. And I haven't talked about it a bit, but most of you should know Abigail and John. Yeah, that thing. So a lot of tensions arise from that. Like I said, Parris doesn't really care about his daughter's well-being. He really cares about his reputation because he's a minister, a very high up position in Salem. So he doesn't want people to look at him like, so your daughter was doing witchcraft stuff, and end up losing his old job as a minister. So that's what he cares about most. And the Putnams, yeah, they sent their daughter, like I said, to Tituba to kind of see if they can contact their kids, because they're really mad that all 7 kids died. And also, by the way, note, I forgot to mention this, Mrs. Putnam, the mom of the 7 kids that died, she doesn't like a person named, Rebecca Nurse, because all her kids and grandkids survived. So basically, Mrs. Putnam doesn't like Rebecca Nurse, and she's mad about the 7 kids that died. And Mr. Putnam doesn't like Giles Corey over land disputes, doesn't really like Parris because of the minister position that's stolen from his brother-in-law, and also is mad at the 7 kids. So that's basically Act 1. If you want to replay the video slowly and stuff, or ask me questions or anything, then I'll answer it. But this is Act 1. I'll be on Act 2, 3, 4 later, and I'll record the videos for y'all. Thank you.